Tibara's Den. My name is Whitney and welcome to another CAS video. We are continuing on with our Zodiac series. If you haven't seen the previous videos, definitely check them out. I kind of explained what we're doing and everything in those previous videos. I'll leave the playlist linked in the description below as well as at the end of this video. But we've already done our Aries Sims and now we are on to our Taurus Sims. And basically, we've already created a sim based on Taurus and their Chinese zodiac twin of the snake. And then there's two separate houses under Taurus that are your Primal Zodiac sims. And all that is combining your Western zodiac sign with the different Chinese zodiac signs. And so, of course, like I said, we're working on Taurus. So it's Taurus combined with each of the 12 Chinese zodiacs. So we're on to the first house right now, and so we've already created the first 4 sims in this house, and that was on Monday. And now we are creating the last 2 sims for that house, and then the next 2 weeks are going to be for the second house under the Taurus sign. So definitely check them out. If you haven't already, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you are notified when I do upload. But I basically kind of separated them based on the whatever Chinese zodiac element they have. So these 2 are snake and horse, and they each have the element of fire. And then the first 4 sims we created on Monday had the element of earth. So first up is our kangaroo sim here, and that combines Taurus with the Chinese zodiac year of the horse. All the information where the websites and everything that I got the information for the series are linked down in the description below. So I'm going to be reading the description of the different Primal Zodiac, and that website, like I said, is down in the description below. So if you want to learn more or check out that website, maybe look up your Primal Zodiac and see what it says about you, things like that. You can find that in the description. But I'm just going to read what it says about kangaroos. And like I said, it does combine Taurus with the Chinese zodiac year of the horse. So it says, those born under the sign of the kangaroo can be difficult to figure out. On one hand, they appear to be relatively friendly, hardworking individuals who work too much and are always focused on something else. Get in the way of their goals, though, and watch out. Few signs have the explosive temper of a kangaroo. They don't mean to offend, but the hot-headed and heavy-hearted kangaroo lives in an inner world of extremes and has a hard time realizing that others don't see everything that is going on behind their focused exterior. To this sign, life is a battle that must be won at all costs, and anyone not with them must be against them. Members of the sign are obsessed with the future. More accurately, they are obsessed with their future success. Few signs are as determined as the kangaroo. Once they have decided to achieve a goal, they will pour themselves into the challenge, often working late into the night to follow through on an idea before it slips away. Kangaroos are much more creative than they seem from the outside. The combination of innovative thinking and a stubborn yet passionate drive often overwhelms a kangaroo's senses. They have a hard time staying balanced between working and living, which they too often view as the same thing. In truth, kangaroos just want to be admired and appreciated. They know that few others are capable of matching their ambition and motivation, and since they appreciate these qualities more than any others, they can't understand why those around them don't seem to acknowledge their efforts. These traits are indeed admirable and even impressive to some, but what kangaroos fail to realize is that those close to them prefer the rare opportunity of having them present in the moment over getting to share in their future success. With their drive and determination, a kangaroo can truly succeed at anything they choose to do. However, certain careers make for better fits than others. And then it goes on to talk about, different things that are suitable for a kangaroo. Things that stood out were that kangaroos are very independent. Bureaucratic careers can easily stifle and frustrate the eager kangaroo. They need freedom and independence, but it's most healthy for them to work with other people as it keeps them balanced. They're naturally talented in marketing, advertising, public relations, and they also can sell their services on a freelance basis. Some famous kangaroos are Jason Biggs, Keenan Thomas, Janet Jackson, Darius Rucker, Stephen Baldwin, Jerry Seinfeld, James Morrison, Tammy Wynette, Bobby Rydell, Barbara Streisand, Paul Mazursky, Martha Graham, and Ulysses S. Grant. They were all famous kangaroos. And so I named him Caden because it means fighter. And then I gave him a career as a freelancer under the programmer branch. And his aspiration, he wants to be fabulously wealthy. He's hot headed, ambitious, and a genius. And so for his look, I kind of tried to go like Australian beachy vibes, if that makes sense. So I'm kind of drawing in that kangaroo aspect, and it's kind of misleading too with how hard he works. And so for you'll see the build tomorrow, but he like has his own little office inside the house since he is a freelancer, and he works a lot, so he has his office inside the house where the others don't. Like they have little areas in their individual rooms, but he actually got the extra space for himself. So that kind of clashes with how he looks, because he looks kind of laid back and just like I said, it's kind of surfer Australian beachy vibes is what I was going for. But he really is a hard worker, and he spends a lot of his time working. And so that's kind of what I was going for as far as his looks go. Like it doesn't quite tell the whole story. And then I like the programmer. I figure that would allow him to use the creativeness a little bit as well. And so he might make some video games or things like that. Like he does have that creative aspect there as well. And he kind of really fits in with this house too, because like my rattlesnake really wants to have a nice house and fancy things, and some of the other Sims in this house are the same way. So there's a couple that have like the mansion bear aspect or aspiration, and then he has the fabulously wealthy aspiration, and he just really wants to make money and be successful. So that's kind of what I was going for. I used a lot of blues, kind of tied in one to his eyes and kind of that Australian beach life vibe, and then a lot of like sand tone, warm tone browns and things like that, and some greens you saw in his first outfit. But just kind of an overall relaxed vibe for him, but at the same time it's not really relaxed. Like that's not who he truly is. But I figured he would want to be comfortable as he's working and busting butt. So that's kind of what I was going for. And then for his workout outfit here, he has the top. I think he would probably take working out fairly seriously as well. Anything he does, he wants to be successful and do the best he can at, or be the best he can at it. So that's kind of what the overall vibe is for him. And I really like how he turned out. He was a fun one. He's not my favorite out of this group, I wouldn't say. He's probably more towards the bottom, but there were so many good Sims in this group that it was really hard to choose who my favorite is, because I really enjoyed creating all of them, but he's probably not one I would necessarily gravitate to wanting to play or anything like that. Where some of the other ones, especially on Monday, I have two of them that are my favorite, and the jackal, which we're creating next, is one of my favorites too. So this was a really good group, and I think there's a lot of similarities in this group, but also a lot of differences, where I think with my Aries portion of this, other than a couple of them, they were all very, very similar. And the Aries kind of traits definitely shone through a lot more than the Taurus traits shine through with these guys. There's definitely kind of a common umbrella over them, but it's really different too. And that's the thing, with zodiacs and everything, is you're still an individual person. The zodiac's not everything. And everybody takes different stocks into zodiac. Some people really, really believe in what they say and the meaning behind them, and other people don't believe in them at all. I'm kind of more middle ground. Like, I definitely think it plays a part, but you also have your individual personalities, how you grew up, things like that. It's kind of, I'm a dog person. I've worked in the dog industry not the dog industry, but the pet industry for most of my life, specifically with dogs and cats. and you have a breed of dog and you kind of know certain traits about them, but at the end of the day they all still have their individual personalities, so it's not necessarily just border collies are super smart, high energy, they need a job to do, but you might get a border collie that's a little bit more laid back based on its individual personality, if that makes sense. And again, how they grow up and how they're trained, all that plays in a factor. And I think the same thing, with our zodiacs and individual peoples. Yes, it might play a factor into who we are, but it's not everything. So that's kind of how I think of this, but I've really been enjoying this series and I think it's a lot of fun. And now we are on to his cold weather look here. He was pretty easy, like I had kind of a picture in my mind, and I think I drew more heavily on like kangaroo in Australia stereotypes, like things that I was thinking of, versus, like the description of the Primal Zodiac. But I really like how he turned out, and it was fairly easy to create him. Like, it wasn't anything that I really struggled with or anything like that. I really had a clear picture of his style and how I wanted him to look, which made it a lot easier, which isn't always the case. Sometimes I really do struggle, but for this sim it was pretty easy. I thought about giving him a hat for his cold weather look, but I just didn't like the way it looked on him, so I ended up taking it off. But those are his looks. Like I said, pretty simple. Some different colors, blue, greens, and browns in there, but nothing too fancy. So now we are on to our jackal, which combines the Taurus sign with the Chinese zodiac year of the snake. And so for her, it says, in the animal kingdom, jackals are often mistakenly thought of as lazy scavengers who don't like to take risks or venture outside their own territory. In the Primal Zodiac, those born under the sign of the jackal are often misrepresented in the same way. To be fair, members of the sign don't like to take risks, feel most comfortable on their own turf, and favor long-term survival over momentary satisfaction. But to consider these traits as negative is to misunderstand the jackal completely. Jackals are notoriously hard to read. On the outside, they often look bored, disinterested, and lazy. On the inside, however, they are constantly reevaluating situations and making plans for the future. Jackals have a deep-seated need for long-term security that heavily influences most of their behavior. To a member of the sign, being secure means being able to live day to day on autopilot, having a comfortable routine that they can change at their whim, but will always be there for them to fall back on. They don't mind living in squalor and eating scraps if it leads to an eventual reality of comfortable, if not extravagant, living. In truth, jackals desire the finest homes, possessions, and food and drink. Though they can be self-indulgent, they will never sacrifice their future security for momentary bliss. Everything jackals do is an attempt to realize the fantasy of being set comfortably for life. Those born under this sign have a hard time living in the moment and are prone to depression and sulking because their goals seem so far away. Jackals need to learn to take pleasure in each day and not just use it as a platform to get closer to their future. If they don't, they risk missing out on their own lives as they are living them. And then it talks about how careers are where jackals focus most of their attention. They need like permanent security. They are skilled in analyzing situations, so they're good analysts, evaluators, assessors, financial advisors, and subject matter experts. They prefer working alone or in familiar groups, hate change and the unknown. They do have a strong passion for art, music, and creativity in general. They are big dreamers, and they often feel they have to choose between their goal of financial security and their true passions. Ultimate career is one where they can be creative, free thinkers, but also somehow ensure a secure livelihood. Some famous jackals are Chris Brown, Jason Earls, Tom Welling, John Cena, Pierce Brosnan, Richie Valens, Audrey Hepburn, Johannes Brahms, and John James Audubon. Those are all famous jackals. And so for her Her style is very laid back. I gave her the name of Jawal, which means the one with a passionate soul and reserved nature will keep calm, strict, and ambitious throughout the life. I thought that was a very, very fitting name. And I actually gave her the writer career, and so her aspiration is best-selling author. I debated whether I wanted to give her like a more what's the right word I'm looking for? Like a more traditional career, and then she would want to be an author. But I like the idea that maybe she got into writing in college and such, and she was able to make a career out of that. Like, she probably started at the bottom, and then now she's an author and she's able to support herself and all that. So that's what I did. She is gloomy, and she's also an art lover and a music lover as well. So for her style, I wanted to go very like laid back, comfortable vibe. She doesn't wear a lot of jewelry. She doesn't wear a lot of makeup because she doesn't want to spend her money on those things. And her clothes aren't overly fancy or anything like that. Like, all her money she really saves, and she wants to be secure. Like, she doesn't want to just blow her money and not have it for the future. The things she does blow her money on are art and, you know, things like that. So music, anything like that, that's where she spends her money if she is a little frivolous with it. But past that, she's very conservative with it. And then, like I said, her style is very comfortable, loose fitting clothing, nothing too tight. As far as like her pants and such go, a lot of sandals or slip on shoes and things like that. So like boots and such that slip on. I went with yellow for a lot of her color, and I don't know why. For the build, I went off of the Chinese zodiac lucky colors, but for their outfits and such, I didn't. But yellow was actually a lucky color for the snake, light yellow is. And I just had the picture in my mind of a jackal, you know, running across like yellow sand, and so that kind of was stuck in my mind, and that's why I gravitated towards a lot of yellow for her. And I also liked it because it kind of combated like her gloomy nature, if that makes sense. So she's really prone to depression and getting kind of down on herself, and so I like the idea that she gravitates towards like the light yellow and the happiness that it brings, since she is kind of prone to kind of going into depression and gloom. So that's kind of what I was going for also. And you can see most of her looks have a yellow component. The ones with jeans or pants are loose fitting pants, like the flared legs, nothing too tight. And I really like her style. Like I said, she is one of my favorites out of this group as well. And I think she's one I would definitely gravitate towards playing when I do get to that point. So she's going to be a lot of fun to have in my game, and I just really enjoyed her, and I like seeing her when I was playtesting and such. I liked having her in that house and seeing her around and walking around and things like that. Like, she was a lot of fun. I don't think she's my favorite. I think if you saw Monday's video, I had the teacher Samwise, and then Buta the buffalo, and those two, I don't know, I really liked them both so much, but she is definitely a close third. She's definitely up there with my favorites out of this group, which I know I've already said multiple times. But it's been a lot of fun, you know, creating these guys and having the different inspirations for the different personalities and characters, by doing like the Primal Zodiac and kind of bringing in the animal aspects to it as well. It's been a lot of fun, and it kind of takes me back to my Barbie playing days when I would get my Barbies out and I would kind of create these characters in my mind. I didn't really so much like the gameplay, which is the same with The Sims. Like, you know, the gameplays, I enjoy it on occasion, but this is my favorite part of it, creating the characters and kind of creating their backstories and who they are. Like, that's what I enjoy about it. So it's been a lot of fun to do this, and I like her hot weather outfit. There's, you know, she has the shirt that says relax, and then the nice comfy skirt. I think that was really cute and definitely fits her style a little bit on the outside. You know, they come across lazy and things like that. So I like that as well. But and now her last look here, pretty similar to the other looks. I go with a yellow sweater. I tried on many different ones. I thought about maybe going with a crop top, kind of just more relaxed. But in the end, I go with a longer sweater, and it's nice and cozy. No big jackets or anything like that. She'd probably spend more time inside when it's cold, if anything. So I like this sweater here. It's not the one I ended up using, but I did like it. I like the belt. But this is the sweater I ended up going with, again, in the yellow color, which I really like for her. And then I do leggings for this look. I know for the rest of the looks I did a lot of like loose fitting pants. But for cold weather, I think a nice thick legging that's nice and warm is nice. And then her shoes kept clipping, so I was kind of limited. So I just went with simple boots. But those are all her looks. And of course, we're going to run through Caden's looks as well. And then you'll see screenshots at the end here, which have a sneak preview of their build. Remember to check back tomorrow so you will see their build. And if you haven't already, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and give this video a like. And we will see you all tomorrow and then on Monday for the first 2 Sims in the next house. Bye guys, have a great weekend.